Good morning. In the second unit, so far we have discussed about normal shock waves and we have solved some numerical problems on normal shock waves. Today, we are going to discuss about oblique shock waves. We know that normal shock wave will have shock wave angle of 90 degree, so whereas an oblique shock wave will have the shock wave angle less than 90 degree. So wherever we have compression corners, there we will have oblique shock waves. Now, let us consider a supersonic flow where Mach number will be more than 1. Let's say we have a very small disturbance. This small disturbance will produce some weak waves, so that is we call it as Mach wave. So these are all weak disturbance. The pressure ratio across this wave will be very minimum. If we increase this disturbance strength, let's say I have a finite semi-wedge angle, so it will produce some strong wave, so that we call it as shock wave. So it will have the angle beta will be less than 90 degree. This is what we call it as oblique shock waves. If we further increase the theta angle, so this wave will become even more stronger. So the pressure ratio across this wave will be very much considerable. So for this also we will have certain beta value. So if we increase theta value further, so after a particular theta value, this wave will become a detached shock wave. So here we can treat the wave as normal shock wave. This is almost perpendicular to the upstream flow. If we further increase the theta value, this wave will become detached to this body. So the shock wave detachment distance will be more if we increase the theta further. So this shock wave detachment distance will be more, detachment distance, if we further increase the theta. In order to get this wave attached, we need to increase the upstream Mach number, or else we can decrease the theta value. Now let us analyze this oblique shock waves using normal shock wave relations. Let's say we have an oblique shock wave. At upstream, we have a supersonic flow where Mach number will be more than 1. So here we have certain theta. So this, let's say this wave is produced by a disturbance which has a semi-wedge angle of theta. So at downstream, the flow direction will be parallel to this surface. So at downstream, we will have the flow direction that is parallel to this surface. So here the shock wave angle beta is the angle between the upstream flow direction and wave. Now I am going to analyze this shock wave using normal shock wave relations. For that, so I am going to consider the upstream region as state point 1 and downstream region as state point 2. So here I am going to split the upstream velocity vector into two components. So one is normal component and another one is tangential component. This is a tangential component. Let's say the velocity of this vector is v1 and corresponding Mach number is m1. So this is mt1 and w1, tangential velocity component, and the normal velocity component is denoted by u1 and corresponding Mach number is mn1. Similarly, so I am going to split the downstream velocity vector also. So here I will have the tangential component, here I will have the normal component. This is u2, mn2, this is m2 and v2, and this is mt2 and omega 2. So if you look at the physics of this flow, this tangential component of velocity will be constant across this oblique shock wave. So omega, so W1 is equal to W2. The tangential component of velocity is constant across an oblique shock wave. So all the flow properties occurs only due to the normal flow components, so normal components of this shock wave. So here we can treat this shock wave as a normal shock wave with U1 and Mn1 component. Downstream we will have U2 and Mn2 component. So all the property variation will be only due to this normal component. There won't be any change in properties because of this tangential component. This tangential component of velocity is constant across this oblique shock waves. So whatever the velocity we have at region 1, the same tangential component of velocity we will have at region 2. The changes only occurs due to the normal component of velocity. So when you look at here, this tangential velocity component direction and the oblique shock wave, these two are parallel. So this angle will be beta. Here at downstream, so this flow deflection angle is theta and this angle is beta. So the angle between this tangential component and actual component is beta minus theta. So when you look at this right angle triangle, we can say that from this triangle sin beta is equal to U1, so in terms of Mach number it is Mn1 divided by M1. So we can say that Mn1 is equal to M1 into sin beta. Similarly, when you look at this triangle at downstream, from this triangle sin beta minus theta is equal to Mn2 divided by M2. So from this relation M2 is equal to Mn2 divided by sin beta minus theta. So in order to get these values, Mn1 value and M2 value, we need the value of beta. So that is related in theta beta m relation. Theta beta m relation, that is tan theta is equal to, the derivation part of this equation is not that much important here. So we need only the relation. Tan theta is equal to 2 cot beta into Mn squared sin squared beta minus 1 divided by Mn squared gamma plus cos 2 beta plus 2. This equation is very much important. So without this equation we cannot calculate the beta value. So if we plot this equation, we will get a graph like this. So for a particular theta value and for a particular Mach number, upstream Mach number value, so we will have two betas values. One is for stronger shock wave, another one is for weaker shock wave. Here the stronger shock wave is defined as an oblique shock wave across this, at downstream condition, the flow will be a subsonic flow. For a weaker oblique shock waves, at downstream, the flow will be supersonic flow. So mostly we will use this weak oblique shock wave solutions. This is valid at a particular condition only, so we won't use this strong oblique shock wave solutions. So we are more particular about only weak oblique shock wave solutions. This graph also explains the same physics whatever we discussed. So after particular theta value, we will not have the oblique shock wave, it will be converted into bow shock waves. So everything it covers. So this graph is very much important while analyzing oblique shock waves. As I mentioned earlier, so all the flow property variation is only due to the normal velocity components. So that is related by the normal shock wave relations. So wherever we have the Mach number value, there we are going to replace by normal velocity components, normal Mach number components. With reference to the normal shock wave relation, so after the substitution of upstream Mach number, at downstream we will have Mach number decrement, velocity decrement, static pressure increment, density increment, static temperature increment. Entropy obviously always increases. The flow process across this oblique shock wave is similar to normal shock wave, that is an adiabatic process. So as per second law of thermodynamics, in an adiabatic process, the entropy change must be positive. So here at downstream, the stagnation pressure decreases. Since the process flow process across this oblique shock wave is adiabatic process, it will have constant stagnation enthalpy and constant stagnation temperature. Now let us solve one problem on oblique shock waves. So problem number 1. If a compression corner of 20 degrees is allowed to encounter an uniform stream of supersonic flow at Mach number 5, if a compression corner of 20 degree, let's say I have a compression corner of 20 degree, so where theta is equal to 20 degree, it encounters an uniform stream of supersonic flow at a Mach number of 5. So obviously we will have oblique shock wave. So here I will have oblique shock wave with a certain beta angle. So this beta angle will be less than 90 degree and more than Mach angle, So calculate the shock wave angle. So I need to calculate beta value, pressure and Mach number behind the shock wave. So P2 value I need to calculate and M2 value I need to calculate. So let's say this is region 1 and this is region 2. So this Mach number will become M1. So where M1 is equal to 5. So we need to calculate beta, P2 and M2 values. So in order to analyze this oblique shock wave problem, we need to convert this into normal shock wave problem. So for that I need normal shock wave components. So to calculate the normal shock wave components, first of all I need this beta value. So this beta value, to calculate this beta value I need to refer theta beta m relation. So either I can refer theta beta m relation or I can directly refer the oblique shock wave table. So here I am going to refer oblique shock wave table. So from oblique shock wave table, for gamma is equal to 1.4 and M1 is equal to 5 and theta is equal to 20 degree, the corresponding beta will be 29.80 degree. So now I have the value of beta. So here first I need to calculate Mn1 value, the normal component of velocity value. So from this triangle this is equal to M1 sine beta. So after the substitution and simplification, so I will get where M1 is equal to 5 sine of 21.80 degree. So I will get M1 as 2.485. Now I can treat this oblique shock wave as normal shock wave with the upstream Mach number Mn1 is equal to 2.485. So here, so now I am going to refer the normal shock wave table. So from normal shock wave table, for gamma is equal to 1.4 and Mn1 is equal to 2.485. So now we already have beta value. So we calculated this beta value. They have not given any P1 value here. So I can represent P2 as 7.008 times P1. So we don't know the P1 value. So this is the end. So next we will calculate M2. So from the downstream triangle, I can relate M2 as Mn2 divided by sine beta minus theta. So this is equal to where Mn2 is equal to 0.515 divided by sine of, so where beta is 29.80 minus theta is 20 degree. So after the calculation, so I will get M2 as 3.026. So these two also we calculated. That's all for today's class. Thank you.